Try to go
It
back
was actually a
repeatedly.
really recent story. It was actually a 2021 story.
Oh my god.
I actually shared it with you. Yes, I did share it with you once via text. So
Hold on, 2021 is in the last 27 days?
yeah, recent. You'll
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
So I was going to do. I had to do some work really quick, briefly. I had to go to work real briefly.
Yeah.
So I traveled to work at like 3 a.m.
Okay.
With some paperwork that I needed to sort of drop off and set up. I went in at 3 a.m. I took a cab over there.
3 a.m.
Yeah. I had to be 3 a.m. because it had to be at a time that was inaccessible-ish. I then did some paperwork. I then did some blah, blah, blah. It took about an hour. And then after an hour, I get out. I called. It's like 4 a.m. I call for another cab, and I come home, and I realize when I'm at work, I'm like thinking like I go to call a cab at work at 4 a.m. to call a cab to get back, and I'm just like, where's my cell phone? And I figured maybe I forgot it at home because it was only like it's not like I had it all day or anything, and I haven't used it since I called that cab from home.
Right.
So I figured maybe I forgot it at home, and then I call for a cab using the work phone.
Right.
I get in the cab, get home, find out at home like there's no cell phone here. Like my cell phone's not here. So my cell phone for sure suddenly has gone missing from the range of 3 a.m. when I called for a cab and went to work to like 4:30 a.m. when I got home. So in this hour and a half, my cell phone has gone missing.
Yeah.
So my conclusion is like, well, I must have like forgot it in a cab, like because I know for sure it wasn't at work, and I know it definitely wasn't at home because I was at neither place long enough. Like I know it's not in those places. I must have forgotten it in the cab. So I call the cab company and I was like, yo guys, do you have like a cell phone in any of your cabs? Like, particularly, I made this call at this time, so you probably know what cab it is. They checked 5 minutes. Like by the way, how I had to call these guys, the cell phone. How do you call someone without a phone? I literally had to.
Did you get your
4
parents'
a.m.
phone?
Like, sure, but like it's 4 a.m. You know.
So what did you
like,
do? Is there a payphone on your like street?
No, but that'd be way baller. I literally Googled like how to make an internet phone number.
Really?
It was really easy actually. Text now was free.
Text
Sponsored,
now.
Just
Okay.
kidding, not really.
Okay, no, that would be really nice.
Yeah, it was free. So it gave me like some random ass area code number. I called the cab company, said blah blah blah. I used like this mic on my computer.
Okay.
To make the call.
So you're like, why does this sound so good? Oh my god.
Yeah. I wish all people had cell phones like this. Yeah. So then they checked the cab, nothing in there.
Okay.
Then I call my phone, right? My cell phone.
Yeah.
Finally, I do this about 4:35 a.m. I call my cell phone and they just say like, I'm like, hey. They answer. I'm like, hey.
Fuck. You have not
Hello?
told me this story, by the way.
No.
No.
They did. Anyways, they answer. And I'm just like half expecting to hear like Liam Neeson like vocal fry like, who are you?
Well.
Turns out it's a much more feminine voice, thankfully, for my own safety. And because Liam Neeson's a psycho.
Yeah.
Right? And then she's like, hi, is this the owner of this phone? I'm like, yeah. You found my phone? They're like, yeah, I found it in a cab. I'm like, okay. Thinking in my head, like, why the fuck didn't you give it to the cab driver? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, sure. Do you want to give that phone back? We could meet up somewhere and like, I'll get a cab to like a public-ish place and you can hand the phone over to me. She's like, yeah, like, sure, that sounds good. How about the corner of this street and this street? That's like these two streets. And I look, I'm like, sure, sounds good. I get off the phone. I look up that address. It's not real. These are two real streets, but they don't meet.
What the
So
hell?
So in my head, I'm just like, I'm putting the puzzle pieces together that this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And this phone was stolen.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure yet with dead certainty. Like maybe she just fucked up. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. 4:30 a.m. Anyways, I call the cab back, and they're like, yeah, they answered. They're like, oh, okay. You know what? We have a list like of the calls, and we're not stupid. We know who called. That's like a regular crackhead. Like, yeah. So there's the meth in the story.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a regular crackhead. She probably took that phone and was trying to sell it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Well, good news that I have. So I'm now getting information. The good news I have is that at 3 a.m. I got in a cab at 4:30 a.m. I knew for sure I lost my phone.
Yeah.
So she can't sell this phone in an hour and a half at 3 a.m.
There's no way, and it's
You know what I
lockdown. It's lockdown.
So my time windows are pretty tight, so I just have to act fast and make plays, and I can find this phone. So I go, and now I'm going with the premise like, okay, maybe my phone's stolen. That sounds probably right. So the cab company can't provide like addresses of where they went to like directly, but they do have that information. So she's like the cab company dispatcher. She was actually really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Kind of remarkable.
She's probably bored as hell also.
Yeah, so she's like, so call the police, get them to call me. My name's this.
Because she can't give that info out to you, obviously.
Yeah. And I'll be able to give information of like what she got picked up at, where she went. You know, we can't say for sure where she lives. We don't know, but like this is where she got dropped off at. It's kind of recently. So, and what you should do is she recommended that I text the phone and say like, hey, like, you know, police have been contacted, blah, blah, blah. You know, we can meet. You can feel free to call, you know, the cab company and give them the phone, or the police should be there relatively soon because they're aware of where you got dropped off.
Wow.
So that's what the dispatcher recommended me to
before
text
the police even got called.
Yeah, before the police even got called. And so, like, first thing I do before that, because I'm pretty diplomatic. Usually I can speak my way through in conflicts, usually.
Yeah.
And so I tried to call back, but when they don't answer the phone, I can't talk my way through anything.
Yeah.
And so I can't come to any resolution or meet any, you know, common ground. So I called like probably 30 times just to make sure we're appropriate.
So that's clearly they're trying to, you know.
Yeah, there's no way, like, it's not like they went to the washroom for 5 minutes and left the phone outside in their backpack. It's nothing. Like,
so what time is it by now? Like 6?
It's probably like not even yet. This is all happening very quickly. This is probably like 4:50 now. Like 20 minutes later.
So you're acting very fast. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're making plays quick. Like I made an internet number after Googling it in like 5-6 minutes.
Damn.
Like we're like 2001 hackers right now.
Yeah, kind of.
And so now I send that text message. I realize and I think about it. I'm just like, to be honest, my phone's locked and like it doesn't have like thumbnails of like what's texted, so
they wouldn't see it.
The only way that they would see it, and I thought about this in hindsight, I didn't actually think about this at the moment. If I still sent that message like, hey, police have been contacted, blah, 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 is if they took out my SIM card and put it in like one of their phones.
Bro, they did it, didn't they? They did it.
I don't know. I can't know. But what I do know is that after I sent that message, and I did end up calling the police, explaining the situation to them, they're like, yeah, we'll probably be there by like 6 a.m. Like, okay, it's not really that much later. It's fine. It's like an hour later, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I end up, you know, I get a call on my
internet phone
number. Good thing I'm at my computer, because otherwise, how do I answer that?
Yeah.
From the cab company.
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, so we just had that same person. Pretty certain it's the same person. They got one of our cabs again, and they said, hey, I just found this phone in the back.
Smooth.
And then the driver's like, because it was actually the same driver that initially picked her up last time.
That's amazing. And obviously he knows.
And through the radio, they've been communicating ish to try to solve the problem. They've been assisting. And so like, he's like, oh, really? That's kind of weird. Thank you. I'll make sure we call back some people to see if it gets turned in.
Some people, aka Constable Jones.
Yeah. I didn't. So then basically I get that call back from the cab company. They're like, yeah, they're just gonna drop it off they'll drop it off where you are. It's cool.
Wow.
I just paid for the cost of the cab. At least I could do, right?
Yeah.
And then I ended up with my phone back. I observed it. You know, it's still here.
Did you clean it off?
Yeah, I did.
Good call.